They said Africa was lost. But the truth survived, in her tribes, in her land, in her memory. The covenant wasn't broken, it was carried by the Bantu. The ancient texts speak of tribes, law, and inheritance. Africa fits. The tribes never vanished. This is the awakening. They moved in tribes. They camped in clans. They settled the land, as families, not religious groups. Each tribe had a banner. Each clan had a role. Each household knew its father's name, and its ancestral land. This wasn't a church. This wasn't a religion. This was a nation of tribes, with laws, land, and legacy. Even in war, they fought as tribes. Even in judgment, they ruled by elders. Even in worship, each tribe brought its own offerings. What was lost was not religion. What was lost was identity. And now, we remember. Everything you're hearing is not just history. It's a living tradition. These tribal identities, banners, customs, clan structures. They are still alive today across Africa, among the Bantu-speaking nations, and passed down through oral memory, land, and tradition. This didn't happen in a narrow strip of desert, in the so-called Middle East. No, the covenant lived on, in Africa, hidden in plain sight. As prophesied in the Torah, Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 27-31, and echoed in Jubilees, Jasher, Baruch, Enoch, and the Apocalypse of Abraham, the people would be scattered. Their memory hidden, and their land looted. But also, a time of awakening would come. And that time is now. The traditions of Israel were never lost. They were preserved through what modern historians call Bantu migrations. But these were not migrations of conquest, they were movements of memory. Movements of tribes keeping the laws, the customs, and the divisions of the Almighty. Despite colonial erasure and lies, they kept it. Africa is the true promised land. The land of copper, rivers, springs, cattle, fruits, fire mountains, and sacred inheritance. The looting of this land, this covenant land, has continued for thousands of years. And today, it still continues. The gold, the minerals, the wisdom, even the people themselves, taken. Bantu people, I speak to you now. It is time to protect your inheritance. Return to your identity. No more manipulation by foreign powers. No more mental colonization. Believe in yourself. Remember the covenant and rise. This is the awakening. A return not to religion, but to remembrance. Not to temples, but to tribal banners. Not to sermons, but to lineage, land, and law. This awakening is the stirring of ancestral memory. The voices of elders rising from the soil. The reassembly of scattered names, clans, and callings, long hidden, never lost. The covenant was not broken, it was carried. Through the rivers and forests, across the valleys and mountains, preserved by the Bantu, hidden in plain sight. Now, we rise, not with borrowed names, not with foreign traditions, but with our own, clans, totems, custom law, sacred inheritance. This is not about going back. It's about returning to who we've always been. This is the awakening. And it begins with remembering who you are.